Peace and blessings, family. It's your girl Sony back again with another one. I don't know, something's just been on my heart lately to share a little bit more. Um, when I first started this journey on TikTok, I hated it. Oh, I hated it with a passion. Spirit made me get on here and said, "Tell your truth, speak your truth. This is what happened to you, speak it." And I just shied away from it for a long time until I couldn't take it anymore. I said, "Okay, okay, okay." And I still waited for my mother's transitional anniversary because I wanted the first video to have some type of meaning, something that I will always say, "Oh yeah, this is when I made this first video and I spoke my truth." Um, but the world is something else, and life will never be the way that you expect it. When I was 13 years old, I spent a year in foster care, and it wasn't due to anything that I did. I won't get into details, but me and my siblings were in foster care for a little over 1 school year. Um, I ended up in 3 different foster homes. The first one, me and my sister, we rebelled, coming from our moms, and we didn't really want to listen. We didn't go to school. We hung out. We did this. We did that. So after a while, they broke us up. She went to a group home. I went to another foster home. But how I tell you, how Spirit always watches out for me. I was right in my father's neighborhood because him and my mother didn't live together. So I was like, cool. I knew this neighborhood like the back of my hand. Um, I still really didn't rock with school that much because I think I got disconnected from school and the whole educational thing during that time. And that's one thing that I learned, that children who are going through traumatic experiences, it's hard for you to go to school and learn certain things when you're unhoused in the system or being raised with people who have no biological tie to you. It's very hard for a child to be uprooted from everything that they know and love and to go to school and just, I'm going to learn, I'm going to do this, because they're dealing with so much more. So we need to integrate therapy because they need therapy. It's a lot that's going on with them that you will never understand. And I know that because I was a child that went through it. Luckily, I didn't act out. I wasn't on drugs and drinking or anything at that point. I was still a virgin too, so I was still a good kid. I was still a kid. So my second home that I went to wasn't too far away from my dad, and I was there for a while. I mean, the lady, it was no love lost. You could tell that she really was in it for the money. She was like one of them little church ladies, but it was no like family unit or anything, and it was what it was for me. Um, at this point, I wanted my brother there, so I went on like a little hunger strike for like 2 weeks. I act like I wasn't eating, but I was actually eating at night. Um, I just knew how to eat to pick little things off in the refrigerator. So eventually they was gonna bring my brother to me, but one day, her husband, he had a stroke. He was an older gentleman. He was giving me a hug. It didn't feel like a fatherly hug. I'm like, I had a dad. I know how this feels. So instead of me going to school, which I barely went to school anyway in Flatbush, I went to see my sister's boyfriend at the time, who worked in Kings County Hospital, not too far away from where I was in Flatbush. So I let him know, like, look, this is what happened. So I contacted my social worker, Elizabeth Kelly. Funny part, she was a little white girl in her probably early mid 20s. She was mad cool. She was really cool. I'm 13 at the time. And I learned how to advocate for myself. I let her know what was going on. I told her I came into the system as a virgin. I was leaving as a virgin. I seen enough after school movies about kids going into foster care. I just ran it down to her. So we agreed to meet at a certain time. She had already packed my stuff, so I didn't have to even go back into the old foster home. So from there, I went to my last foster home, which was the best foster home, I should say, with Miss Boyd in Queens, and I was in Laurelton for a while. The funny part, my last foster home was only a couple of blocks away from my first foster home, where me and my sister was cutting up. By this time, our names was just ringing bells in the system. They was just like, these kids are off the hook, da 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 da. So she really didn't know what she was opening her home to. I came, my sister was still in the group home, but they did uh, bring my brother to me. So I think it was like seven of us in the house, seven kids, and her husband. Um, and it was the best place. It was love. It was attention. They both was from North Carolina, reminiscent of my family. Um, she was a motherly type where she was open and caring, and I didn't feel like a check. I didn't feel like I was a project. Like she loved us. She opened us. She welcomed us with open arms, and we had a really good time. I mean, I had such a good time there that when it was time to return to my mother, I didn't even want to come home because I'm like, I'm having a ball here. I'm a kid. I don't have to worry about cooking somebody food in the middle of the night because they drunk and can't cook and then being woken up out of my sleep. It was amazing. I got to relax and know what it was to be a child. All I had to do was my chores and go to school. That was it. No late night doing it. It was beautiful. It's sad to say, but it was beautiful. And I will always remember her. I wrote her a letter. Well, I used to write her letters all the time once I went back home. But I wrote her a letter that they actually published in um, the bulletin. They would have this little bulletin that they put out every Christmas, and they published a letter. I mean, thanking her for taking care of me and my brother and treating us like her own biological children and providing a safe place for us where I didn't have to be an adult. And I thank her for giving me a space to be a child where I can learn and grow and just be comfortable to be myself. And I love that woman. I loved her dearly. I really loved her a lot. When she passed, it affected me. I did keep in touch with her over the years, but not as much as I should have. And it taught me that you have to really be mindful because we forget as we're getting older that the people that raised us and poured into us are also getting older as well. Um, but the time in foster care, it taught me how to advocate for myself as a teenager. It taught me how to look out for myself. It taught me how to uh, live outside of my family unit. It taught me because I learned how to live amongst people who had no shared DNA with me in two homes before my brother came back. So it really prepared me for life in a way because I got to see like the world could be a cold place. It could be a cold place, but it could also be a loving place as well. So I went from one home from feeling like a check, another home to God help me, almost probably being molested if I would have stayed there any freaking longer. Um, Feeling like a check, and then going to another place where you just felt love and acceptance and gratitude for God to allow me to be in that space with my baby brother. So I didn't have to worry about him and how he was being treated. I had him with me. Even though my sister wasn't with me, at least I had one of my siblings and at least the baby so I could make sure that he was okay. I didn't have to make sure he was okay because we actually had a decent mother. And before I ended up leaving there, I called her mom just like everybody else did because that's who she was. She was a kind, giving, caring, sweet woman who loved the Lord and loved us. And she did the best she could for all seven of us. I think about it now when I have a daughter who's 7 years old, and she dealt with seven of us, and most of us was three, three or four of us were teenagers. Imagine that. And I had a foster sister who was from Brooklyn, from Coney Island. I was from Brooklyn, so we automatically matched. Um, High School 231, right across from Springfield Gardens. It was a beautiful time. It was a beautiful time, even though I wasn't able to be with my mom for a certain amount of time. But it helped me grow up, and I was never a child after that, which I was always an old soul, but it just showed me that I could survive without being with my parents, that I could survive. Um, so I just want to let people know out there, like, we never know the backstory of people and things that they've been through. And I never held it against my parents, well, my mother, because I live with my mom. Um, never held it against her. Things happen, and it's just part of my story. It's part of my life's journey. Um, but I'm grateful that I was able to leave the system unscathed. That's for sure. I'm grateful that I was able to leave um, without collecting more scars than I had walking in there, because I hear a lot of people horror stories of the things that they went through, and it's heartbreaking. But I just wanted to let anyone know who may be in the system right now, it doesn't have to define your life, it doesn't have to define your future. It's just something that you went through, and it's not you. It's just an experience. It's just an experience that we go through. Hopefully, you're able to just move on and just realize just a part of your past. Like an ex is a part of your past. It's something that you don't have to identify as with. It is what it is. We all have backstories. Some people aren't open enough to share. There's nothing I haven't experienced and I'm not willing to share, because it's a part of me. It has gotten me to where I am today, and why I think and see things the way that I do. So, hug your mama and your daddies or whoever it is that's raising you. Hug your foster parents. Hopefully, you got some good ones that's taking care of you. But it does not have to define your future. Until next time, brothers and sisters, love yourself before you can love anybody else. Pour this love into you and your family. And realize life will always be life, but we are stronger than we thought. We're stronger. If you doubt your strength, just look back to all the things that you survived when you didn't think you could, and you're still standing. So until next time, peace and blessings, love and light, Ashe.